Good morning, I'm Stephanie. This is Sky Yoga. This is going to be an hour-long routine with stretches for every part of the body and no conditioning. So if you've got any soreness anywhere and you want to get a routine in without adding soreness to your muscles, try this one. So we're going to be using a block and a strap. Make sure it's nice and long as your arms are when they're fully extended. You can use a dog leash, is a great option here. I've got a karate belt. So as long as it's not stretchy and nice and long, it will work. Let's get started by sitting on the block. That's really helpful for opening up the hip joints and stretching the inner thighs. And I'm going to say this to you more than once. Cross your legs the weird way, the way you don't like, right? The way you don't do them automatically. When it becomes uncomfortable, just switch back. That's fine. We are used to sitting in certain ways, crossing our legs the same way every time. So alternating instead of always doing it on the same side is really helpful for developing your muscles evenly, stretching them out evenly, so that you're not lopsided and overworked on one side. So sitting on the block, we're just going to check in with the posture. So let your lower body relax. You can also, of course, sit on a blanket or something more comfortable, a cushion. Let your spine rise up nice and straight. Pull your shoulders up, back, and down so they're relaxed away from your ears. Your elbows are just kind of loosely dangling, and your hands are resting on your legs or in your lap, whatever feels best. And then finally, we're going to look down at the floor. Feel the back of your neck straightening up and kind of forming a straight line with the rest of your spine. You can close your eyes here or just gently unfocus your gaze. And we're going to spend about a minute just paying attention to the breath, observing what your breath is doing without changing anything yet. That's my Poodle McLeod making a guest appearance. So now we're going to shift into the second phase of pranayama. Pranayama means intentional breath or breath control. So here we're going to do something on purpose. You can choose to relax your belly and breathe more deeply all the way down into your abdomen. You can choose to just breathe more slowly. I'm going to exhale longer than the inhale because this is very soothing to the nervous system. And it has a fancy Indian name that I can never remember. So the way I visualize this is visualizing a slide, just a playground slide. So you're going to inhale and climb up the ladder, and then exhale and slide smoothly down. And that slide down is always physically longer than the climb up. That's the way triangles are made. So in order to help you extend the exhale longer than the inhale, you can count the steps up the ladder. Maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then count your slide down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, those numbers can change as your breath slows down and lengthens. So let's spend about 10 breaths doing some kind of intentional breathing. And go through one more breath cycle of whatever you're doing. And then lift your head back up. Now we're going to start with some gentle stretches for the neck. So turning your head to look over your right thigh, your chin and your thigh are lined up, and then drop your face down. So we're facing this 45-degree angle and we're looking down at the right thigh. You're probably feeling a gentle stretch across your left shoulder and maybe down the left side of your neck as well. Breathe. And then on your next inhale, lift your head and come back to center. And now we're going to exhale the other way. So lining up your chin over your left thigh, and then drop down so you're facing your left thigh. And breathe. Probably feeling a very gentle stretch across your right shoulder. And on an inhale, lift up and back to center. And now we'll do a slightly more intense shoulder stretch. I'm going to turn around and show you what that looks like. So we're going to grab your left wrist with your right hand. You can keep your elbows bent or let your arms be long. Maybe play with that and see how that feels. And then we're going to drop the right ear down. So your torso remains vertical. We're not side bending. And your shoulders remain level and low. We're making a C shape from the left side of your head all the way down to your left wrist. And I'm really feeling this in the left shoulder. Breathe. And then inhale up and loosen your shoulders up a bit by rolling them around or shrugging them, and we'll go the other way. So your left hand grabs your right wrist. Your torso is vertical, your shoulders are level, and drop your left ear down. Feeling the stretch in the right shoulder. Try to relax your lower body as well. And then inhale up and loosen the shoulders. Now we'll do some stretches for the arms. So extend your arms, they're full length, stretch through your fingers. And then inhale, reach for the ceiling. And exhale, palms to the floor. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, release down. And one more like that. Wonderful. Excuse my yawn. And this time we'll reach up and bring the palms of the hands together, interlace your fingers, and turn your palms to the ceiling. Look both ways under your armpits. And then we'll drop one hand and lean over into a side bend. So your lower elbow is pointing inward at your waist, and your arm is directly over your head. So the chest is open to the front. We're not hunching down. You can look both ways, continuing to stretch your neck. And now let's make big sweeping circles with the arm. And we're just trying to cover as much space as possible. So keep your arm long and straight. And see if you can pass your hand in front of both knees, making the biggest circle that you can. And now let's change direction of that circle. And then rise back up again, reaching for the ceiling. Inhale and then exhale, the other arm down. Lower elbow points at your waist, upper arm is above your head. Just lean into this side bend. The hips are grounded though. We're not lifting the hips off the floor. We're just stretching the torso. And then big circles again. trying to get your hand to go in front of both knees. Just imagine scooping out the biggest sphere of air that you can. Nice and slow and continuous. And then we'll change direction. All right, and then let's reach back up again, stretch high, and then drop one hand down between your shoulder blades, and with the other hand grab that elbow, pulling it back. This is a tricep stretch, the back of the upper arm. If you're very flexible, you can take the grabbing hand behind you and touch your fingertips. That's not going to happen for me today. And then inhale, reach up, and exhale, drop the other hand down. Again, grabbing your elbow and pulling it back, or reaching your hand around behind and touching your fingertips. Sometimes one side works and the other doesn't, just like me. And then raise both arms up again, stretching for the ceiling, and then open the arms wide. And we're going to fold one arm across your body, straight, and then the other arm comes to bend underneath it. So your elbow is acting as a support for the extended arm. The extended arm is just relaxed, and you're going to feel the stretch here in the upper arm and the deltoids. Still keeping your torso upright as much as possible. You might want to try crossing your legs the other way, just in case you reverted to your automatic position. And now on the next inhale, let's open wide and bring the other arm across. Again, letting it rest on the elbow. Pulling it in tight so you feel that stretch in the deltoids. There goes the poodle again. And then inhale, open wide, and now the arms are going to go behind us. So with your thumbs up, palms facing front, we're going to bring the hands toward each other behind you. You're not going to be able to touch the backs of your hands together unless you're an ex-circus person. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your chest. Breathe. And then on an exhale, wrap yourself in a big hug. Your hands are going to land on your shoulder blades. Keep your neck nice and loose so we're not hunched up. Relax downwards. And notice which elbow is on top. We're going to switch that in a moment. So with an inhale, open the arms wide again. This time we're going to flip the thumbs down, palms to the back. Bring the hands behind you, clasp, and roll the shoulders back. Again, your chest is puffed out. You're arching your back into a position very similar to cow pose. Breathe. And with an exhale, wrap yourself in another hug. This time the other elbow is on top, the one that doesn't feel quite right. And now let's open the arms out wide, bring your fingertips to your shoulders, and we're going to take this elbows in big circles. So elbows all the way up to the side and then in the center touching, big circles. And then change direction. Still touching in the middle and opening out your wings as wide as you can. And then we'll conclude this segment with resting your hands somewhere on your legs or in your lap and inhaling the shoulders up and exhale, release. Inhale the shoulders high. Trying to level them out, and exhale, release. One more time, inhale high, and exhale, release. Great, okay, so that was our upper body warm up. We're going to add in shoulder flossing now, and that's what you need your strap for. So take your strap out in front of you as wide as your arms, And we're going to start by just kind of lowering it down. Adjust your grip as you need and raising it up to your head. Mine's kind of touching the top of my head. So I'm going to change my grip just a little bit and I can go a little bit higher. There we go. So strap low, strap high. There we go. Now I can do it without messing up my hair. Down to your knees, up to your head, and see if you can go back a little bit. And down, and up, back a little bit more. And down, and up, back a little more, maybe behind your neck. And down, and don't force this. If you can't go back behind, don't do it. Just lift up and down. And back a little further behind your back. And front, and back as low as you can go, comfortably, safely, and up again. So just do a couple more of these to whatever the fullest extent you're at today without hurting yourself. And then we'll get to the more fun part. So we're going to drop one hand and bring the strap behind you and then in front of you. This is the flossing part. So we're just rotating the strap. It's still as long as your extended arms. Rolling it around, getting those shoulders nice and warm and stretched. Yeah, and then we'll go the other direction. So drop the other hand and bring it around and back and in front. Back and front. One more set. Back and front. Woo! Arms are nice and warm now. So loosen them up, shrug and roll. I'm going to grab a water break. All right, now we're going to shift our attention to the hips with the sequence I call hip prep. These are just really nice exercises to do for your hips, stretching out and making cross-legged seating easier and improving your flexibility. So seated hip lift, we're going to forward bend first, and that means bringing your forearms down to the floor. If you're not able to rest your forearms on the floor, grab your block or cushion and rest your forearms on that support. Leaning forward, you're going to feel this stretch in the outer hips, the tops of the thighs. You can let your head hang if you like. If that's not comfortable, you can rest your head on your block. Breathe and relax. Let your lower body really soften into the floor. And then we're going to straighten the arms and sit up. Bring your arms behind you. Have I got enough room? Yes. It doesn't matter which way your fingers face, whatever's comfortable. Your arms are straight and behind you. And now we're going to lift the hips upward, rolling your knees forward so they touch the mat. I'll turn around sideways so you can see what this looks like. There we go. You can keep your head up or you can drop it back. If dropping it back makes you dizzy, don't do that. Keep it up. So we're using the glutes and pressing upwards, stretching the psoas, the quads, the front of the hip area. Breathe and lower down with control. So now we're going to do this the weird way, the way you don't like to cross your legs. I always like to have my left foot on top. I'm going to switch it around and put my right foot on top. So we start with the forward fold, bringing your forearms down to the floor, and I can definitely tell this is not my favorite side because my right hip is really tight and complaining. So you may find that you really need that support in this position. Again, you can drop your head or rest it on your stacked fist or rest it on your block. And it's extra important on this side to really relax your lower body, relax everything in the hip and pelvic area so that you can get some stretch out of this. Breathe in softness and breathe out tension. Now we're going to straighten the arms, Sit back up, bring your hands behind you for support, and lift the hips. So rolling the knees forward, lifting the hips high. Head can stay up or drop back. This back bend should feel really good actually after the forward fold. Let the hips really open up. One more long breath. And sit down with control. Very good. So that was our hip lift. Next we're going to do seated windshield wipers, which are really nice and loosening. So we're going to bring the hips nice and wide as your mat, maybe wider if you're long. Hands behind you just like they were before, and we're going to roll the knees down, all the way down, as far as they'll go. And that's why your feet have to be nice and wide, so that you're not kicking yourself in the knee. So make sure there's plenty of room for both knees to come all the way down, and do a couple of these. It should feel really nice on your glutes. It's like a glute massage. And then the next time that your knees are pointing to the left, we're going to bring your torso around, oriented with your left thigh. Bring your hands in front of your left knee and come down, resting your torso on your thigh. And what we're doing, this is a yin yoga pose, a passive yoga pose. We're using your body weight to compress the left hip. So I like to think about cookie dough here, or biscuit dough. When you roll out the dough, you're pressing it and it stretches. That's exactly what we're doing to our muscles, applying pressure to get a stretch. So breathe into it, relax into it, let your hips soften into the floor. One more long breath. Nice. And then straighten your arms. We're going to come back to the initial position. So your right arm comes back behind you. Knees lift. Make sure your feet are still nice and wide. We'll do those swipes a couple more times. Windshield wipers, whatever you want to call them. And then the next time that your knees are pointing right, we're going to bring your hands in front of your right knee and rest your torso on your right thigh. It's the weight of the torso that's pressing the right thigh into the ground, stretching that right hip. So let it happen. Really release your weight down. Breathe. One more long breath. Straighten your arms, sit back up, left arm comes back behind you, and we'll finish off with a couple more swipes while I check what the next exercise is. We did that. Stem twist. So let's straighten the legs now out in front of you for stem pose. This is where your body makes a right angle, where your upper body meets your legs. And we're going to cross your left leg over your right, give it a hug, sit up nice and tall, and we're going to do a twist. So you're going to take your right elbow and place it outside your left knee. You can leave your forearm up in the air or press it down, whatever helps you get more leverage. And then take your left arm around behind you. We're using the right arm to leverage your left leg across your body and get a gentle twist throughout the whole spine. Look over your left shoulder. On your next inhale, come back up to center, hug that knee, untwist your back, always untwist after a twist. And then extend the left leg, we're going to cross the right leg over. Give it a hug, sit up nice and tall, and then take your left elbow outside your right knee and your right arm behind you. Same thing. Your forearm can be up in the air or pressed down. I'm really feeling that in the right hip. That's my tighter hip today. Whew. One more long breath. And on an inhale, come back to center, unkinking the back. Good. Okay. Now we are going to work on the legs with the 3-part leg stretch. fold in your left leg just as if you were sitting cross-legged. Extend your right leg. And step one is just reaching out and grabbing wherever your hand lands. So that might be your shin, or it might be your toes. You could also take your strap here, placing it around the ball of the foot, right there, so below the toes, above the arch, and pulling your foot towards you that way. If you are pulling your toes towards you, relax your ankle. That's the only way you can stretch your calf. If your toes are pushing away, your calf muscles are engaged and they can't stretch. So relax the ankle, pull the toes back. See if you can get a little bit of bend in your elbow and pull your upper body a little closer to your leg. So this is part one. Relax the back of that extended leg, the right leg. Keep relaxing the ankle. That's the hardest part for me. It's instinctive to want to push your toes into your hand. Let your ankle relax and pull your toes back. Now we're going to add in the left arm and get more side bend, just like we did in the warm-up. Chest is facing forward. And now we're going to pivot, rotating your upper body to line up with the right leg. You're facing your right foot. And your hand and your arm come together somehow. Maybe your hands are both touching, maybe your left hand is way up on your right arm. It doesn't matter. Keep relaxing your ankle and pulling those toes toward your face. Drop your elbows down as low as you can. You're going to feel some stretch here and, of course, in the back of the extended leg. One more long breath. And then sit up. Lift your back, maybe do a little cat-cow move there. We're going to fold in the right leg and extend the left leg. Step one is just reach out and grab what you can. Wherever your hand lands is fine. You can use the strap in order to be able to pull your toes toward your face. If you're doing that, relax your ankle. I keep reminding you because I have to keep reminding myself. It's instinctive to push those toes outward, and you want to do the opposite. So begin to relax the back of your leg toward the floor. See if you can get some bend in that left elbow. And now we're going to raise the right arm for the side bend. Keep the ankle soft, keep the chest facing forward. And now we're going to pivot, facing your foot, bringing your hand and arm together, bending those elbows just a little bit more, and really getting a deep stretch in the back of the left leg. Relax your ankle. With each exhale, see if you can bend your left elbow a little bit more. One more long breath. Excellent. Release. Sit up nice and tall. We've been doing forward folds, so we need to do a back bend. Extend both legs. We're going to bring the hands behind. Arms are going to be long and straight directly beneath us. Resting on your heels, we're going to lift the hips high and come up into reverse plank. So your arms are straight and supporting you directly under your shoulders. Your head can drop back if that's comfortable. Don't do it if it makes you dizzy. Push your hips and glutes up high. And then lower down with control. Very nice. Okay. Now we're going to transition down to the back for the last half of the hour and focus on back leg and hip stretches on the back. So coming down, fully extended. Let's reach up overhead and do a full body stretch. So hands are reaching back behind your head, toes are reaching long down below. Flex your wrists and ankles, maybe roll them around a bit. Just get that full stretch through your whole body. Maybe you feel your low back arching off the mat. Maybe you feel your belly, your abs stretching. And then we're going to bring hands to knees and bring your forehead up towards your knees. Maybe you can reach down and grab your heels. And we're curled up in a little ball. And if you rock here, you're going to be giving your low back a massage. The quadratus lumborum, I believe. Lumbarum, maybe? Ooh. And now we're going to just stretch one side at a time. So bring your right hand to your right knee or shin. I like to put it right below the knee at the top of the shin. And extend your left side. So your left leg goes long again, your left arm comes back overhead, and flex your hand, your toes, your wrist, your ankle. Get that long stretch on the left side. And you're hugging your right knee in the whole time. I'm really feeling this in the psoas, where the hip and the thigh connect. So breathe and stretch everything on the left side. Point your toes, flex them back towards your face. Do the same thing with your wrist. One more long breath here. And then on an exhale, bring hand and knee back together so we're hugging both knees again. You can rock here if you like that sensation. And now we're going to leave the left hand just below the left knee and extend the right side. Same thing. So getting a long, full stretch, focused on the right side. Flex and point your wrist and toes. Circle them around, circle the other way. And breathe into this big, long right side stretch. I'm really feeling it, like I said, in the psoas right here. One more long breath. And then on an exhale, we're going to bring hand to knee and hug them in again. Just for fun, let's throw in a happy baby here. So lifting the shins vertically, the soles of your feet are facing the ceiling, and you grab your feet, pull them wide apart, and rock side to side. This is going to feel really nice on your whole back. Happy baby. And then bring the soles of the feet together, push the knees away. It's reclined cobbler's pose. In these poses, if your head, if you feel like your neck is straining and your head is coming off the floor, put something under your head, a thin cushion, a blanket, even a book, but something to keep your neck from getting strained. You don't want to hurt your neck while you're stretching everything else. And then we're going to release our grip on the feet. They stay together and come down for Supta Baddha Konasana. So the feet are resting on their sides, soles are still touching, and you can rock here on your pelvis. You can flap your knees up and down, or you can just be still. This is a nice pose for stretching the inner thighs. All right, now we're going to lift the knees back up so the feet are flat on the mat. I'm going to grab my little list here. Let's see what we're supposed to be doing. Let's do wet wash rag. So extend the right leg. It's resting on the floor. It gets to relax. And we're going to hug the left knee in with both hands. Give it a tight squeeze. Again, you're going to feel this probably in the psoas right here where the hip and the thigh connect. Pull that knee in. And now you're going to place your right hand on that right hip. With the left hand just below your knee, open that left leg outward. So we're letting the left leg fall toward the floor, stretching the inner thigh. Just let it hang like a wing or the cover of a book. Breathe. Your foot can relax. It doesn't have to be anywhere in particular. And then let's hug that knee in again with both hands. Hug it in tight. And now this is the complicated part of wet wash rag, but the best part. You're going to take your right hand and pull this knee across your body. Tuck your left foot behind your right knee. That gives you the resistance that you need. You're pulling your left knee toward the floor with your right hand, and your left foot is tucked behind your right knee. And I'm getting a nice stretch in the left hip. And now I'm going to look over the left shoulder back behind me and get even more twist in the back. So this is a full spinal twist, but very gentle at the same time, because your whole body is supported. And I call this wet wash rag because it feels like you're just wringing out your back. Let's look back at the ceiling and roll gently back to center and pull both knees in to neutralize the back. You can rock side to side. Good. Now we're going to bring both hands to the right knee and extend the left leg. So the left leg is just long and relaxed. We're hugging the right knee in tight. And then place your left hand on your left hip and open the right leg out. So my arm is coming from underneath, the hand is resting just below the knee, and I'm pulling that right knee open. The whole right leg, actually. And then hug it back in with both hands. And now we're going to release the right hand to the floor. The left hand grabs your right knee. I pivot my hand around so that it's on the outside of the knee. And then press that right knee toward the floor on your left side. And you can see my right foot is hooked behind my left knee or thigh. So I'm pulling the right knee toward the floor. I'm feeling a lot of stretch in the right hip, the upper hip. The right arm can just relax, and you can look toward your knee, but if you look away from your knee, you're going to get more twist in the back. Just a full twist from the base of your spine all the way up to the base of your skull. One more long breath here. Wring out that wash rag. And then roll back to center. Oh, give those knees a hug. Very good. All right. We're going to drop the right foot now and rest your left ankle on your right knee for figure 4 stretch or reclined pigeon. So your right arm is at your side. You can use your left hand to push your left knee away, and that's going to open up your left hip joint. Give a little stretch to that outer left hip. And then with both hands, you're going to reach around and grab either the back of your right thigh or the front of your right shin. And this, two factors are at play here. How flexible are you and how long are your arms? So if you can't grab the front of your shin, grab the back of your back of your thigh. Either way. Rest your head. It might have a tendency to come off the ground. Let it rest on something. And then pull. So you're going to bend your elbows and pull your right leg towards your body, which of course pulls your left leg in as well. And I'm feeling this in the back of the left leg, in the hamstring, and also the piriformis up in the glutes. Squeeze that right leg in a little tighter. And release your hands. We're going to keep the legs in position and drop that right foot to the floor. Now we're going to roll to the right so that your left foot also touches the floor. You're going to feel kind of pretzel-y. I'm feeling a deep twist in the left hip now. And I'm going to take my right hand and push the left knee away. And now I feel that stretch all the way through the left hip, all around from the psoas to the back. And then release and roll back to center. We're going to extend the left leg and maybe roll your ankle around a bit. Yeah, mine snapped because it was just compressed. All right, figure 4 on the other side. So rest your right ankle on your left knee, bottom of the left thigh. We're going to use the right hand and push the right knee away, opening up the right hip joint. Breathe. And then release, and with both hands you're going to reach around and grab either your left thigh or the front of your left shin. Release your head back down, rest it on something, and pull that left leg in, which is going to also pull in your right leg. And I'm feeling it back here in the top of the right thigh and in the glutes in the piriformis. So just bend your elbows and squeeze that left leg in as far as you can. Relax everything in the hip and pelvis area. It may be that you can reach your shin on one side, but only the thigh on the other side. And if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. You can't fight that. Just keep trying. And maybe one week you'll get both thighs or both shins. And let's release the hands. The left foot drops to the floor, and we're going to roll to the left until your right foot touches the floor. And then use your left hand to push the right knee away, getting a lot of stretch in the right hip. Also compressing your left hip into the floor. And let's release and roll back to center, and of course give those knees another hug. They totally deserve it. All right, what's our next exercise here? Let's do reclined windshield wipers. So we did these earlier seated. Place your feet on the floor as wide as your mat again, and we're just going to roll the knees down side to side. They won't come down as far probably as they did when you were seated, but you're getting full support for your back. And I can really feel this in the hips, especially the psoas, right there. Feet nice and wide so your knee has room to come down. Great, and then bring them back up. Bring your feet back close to each other so your legs are parallel. We're going to do reclined half lotus, which is a great hip and thigh stretch. And it helps you be in a cross-legged sit. So if you have a goal of sitting in half lotus or full lotus, this is your practice pose. So we're going to extend the right leg long and relaxed, and then lift your left foot off the ground, reach around with your right hand, maybe your left hand too, and bring that left foot up to rest on the top of your right thigh. So it's like you're sitting cross-legged with one leg. The sole of your foot is either facing the ceiling or your face, and the top of your foot is resting on your hip or your thigh. And then use the strength of your left leg to press that left knee downward toward the ground. Your back will probably arch off the mat, that's okay. So what I'm feeling is a pretty deep stretch, twisting all the way down the thigh from the hip down to the knee. We're stretching pretty much all the muscles in the quadriceps group. So the quads are not one muscle, it's a group of muscles. And we're giving it a good deep stretch. Breathe. And then lift your knee and release your foot. And you probably want to rotate that ankle around, move your foot around because it's been compressed. And then extend the left leg long and relaxed. That means your toes are out to the side. And then bend the right knee, reach around and grab the right foot. It comes to rest on your left hip or the top of your left thigh. Get a good grip on it. We're going to hold it up high while we press the right knee down toward the floor. Feeling again that stretch all throughout the right quad group. And then lift the right knee, release the right foot, rolling that ankle around. Very good. Okay. We're going to bring the feet back close to the body again, legs are parallel, and make sure your block is in reach. Here's mine. We're going to do bridge and then supported bridge. So feet flat on the floor, hands at your sides. We're going to lift the hips up high, use your glutes and press your hips into the air. And then clasp your hands underneath you and squeeze your shoulders together until your rib cage is also up in the air. So you're just resting on your shoulder blades and the soles of your feet. Maybe you can scoot your feet in and grab your heels. And this should feel a lot like bow pose when we're on our belly and we grab our feet. And then release your hands and shoulders out to the side, and we're going to lower down as slowly as you possibly can. Imagine you can bring down one vertebra at a time, or at least one part of your back at a time. Upper back, mid back, lower back, and then finally your tailbone and your glutes hit the floor. And when you get all the way down, give your knees a hug. All right, and place the feet back on the floor, and this time we're going to grab your block and lift your hips just high enough to slide that block underneath. Start with it on the widest face, so the lowest height, and see how comfortable that is. If that's not doing much for you, you can lift up your hips again and turn the block on the long side, so you're on the second highest setting. But I'm going to bring mine back down to the lowest. And then there are several things you can do here. First, try extending one leg. Just long and relaxed, resting on the heel. I'm going to switch so you can see. So I've got my right leg extended and I'm really feeling a nice stretch here in the right psoas. The psoas muscles are important to keep flexible because they help you stand up straight instead of hunching over. So if you've ever been sitting in front of the TV for a long time or sitting at your desk for a long time and you stand up and you feel like you're hunched over like an old person, that means you need to stretch your psoas muscles. Let's raise that knee and extend the other leg. Ooh, stretching that other psoas. Breathe. And then raise that knee and try opening the knees out. Touch the soles of the feet together and you're in reclined but supported Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose again. And again, you can rock your pelvis here, you can flap your knees up and down, or you can just be still. You might find you need to adjust your block as you move around in these different poses. This is really nice for opening the hip joints and stretching everything in the upper leg. And then bring your knees together again, feet flat on the floor, and try raising. So we're going to pull the knees in and then extend the legs straight up. Again, you might have to adjust your block here. This is a really safe alternative to a shoulder stand. So getting up into a shoulder stand is really hard on a lot of people's necks, including mine. I don't do it anymore. But if you want to invert your legs, like you've been standing or walking all day, and you just want to give your legs a little boost, invert your legs. You can do that up the wall or supported here on your block. Point your toes, flex your ankles. You can scissor your legs back and forth. And then bend the knees, bring the feet back to the floor, lift your hips, and slide the block out. All right, we're going to wrap up this routine with reclined hamstring stretches, which are really nice. I'm going to move my mat out away from the wall a bit because I'm going to need some room to do this. Okay, let's start with the right leg. So we're going to place the strap around the ball of the right foot, and I'm showing you mine. It's not on the toes, it's not on the arch, it's on that bony those joints at the base of your toes. So bring your right leg up in the air as close to vertical as you can. Your left leg is just long and relaxed, supported on the mat. And reach up as high as you can and relax your ankle. I said this earlier when we were doing the 3-part leg stretch seated. In order to stretch your calf, you need to relax your ankle. If your toes are pushing against the strap, your calf is engaged and it can't stretch. So pull your foot in, and maybe you can find a spot on the ceiling that allows you to know where you start this stretch, and maybe your foot will be moved a little bit in relation to that spot by the end of the stretch. So let's reach up with a fully extended right arm, long straight right arm, grabbing as high as you can on the strap, and open that leg out to the right. If your left hip is popping up, place your left hand on your left hip, keep it down. Keep relaxing your ankle and pulling that foot towards your face along the ground. So not up in the air, but just pulling it along the ground close to your face. If it's uncomfortable to have your foot in the air rested on a block, one more long breath here. Whew, and then haul that leg back up to vertical. And you may see it has moved a tiny bit in relation to your spot on the ceiling. And now we're going to extend the left arm fully, long straight left arm, grabbing as high on the strap as you can. And we're going to roll your leg over to your left side. And I still don't have enough room, so I'm going to have to scoot over on my mat. There we go. Yes, bringing that leg as low as is comfortable. Oh boy. Keep relaxing your ankle. Keep pulling your foot towards your face. You're going to feel a twist here in the low to mid back. Looking away from your foot adds your neck into that twist. So this is like wet wash rag that we did earlier, but now our leg is extended instead of bent. One more long breath. Ooh, and roll back up to center, leg close to vertical. See, mine started here, vertical, and now it's back here. So maybe yours has moved a degree or two as well. Now we're going to bend the right knee. Put that strap aside for the moment. Grab your right foot with both hands. I'm going to angle around a little bit so you can see this better. We're going to grab the foot with both hands, and the elbows come out to the side in a diamond shape. So I'm looking at my foot, pulling it toward my face. Woo! And then release everything down. Take a moment to enjoy that. Woo! And then we'll do the left side, and then we will be so ready for Shavasana. So placing the strap around the ball of the left foot, not the toes, not the arch. Get that left leg straight and vertical. Extend your right leg, let it relax. And start pulling that foot towards your face. Relax your ankle. The instinct is to push against the strap. Do the opposite. Relax and pull your toes toward your face. See if you can find some kind of landmark on the ceiling to see if your foot is moving by the end. And then we're going to extend the left arm long and straight and grab as high as you can on that strap and open your leg out to the left. Again, moving away from the wall. There we go. Left leg is open as far and as low as it can comfortably be. Maybe it needs to rest on a block. Relax the whole leg, of course, including the ankle. You can place your right hand on your right hip if it's coming off the floor. You don't want to be rolling off the floor too much. And keep that gentle pressure on. Use your left arm to pull the foot towards your face. Keep relaxing your ankle. This is an active stretch, not a passive yin stretch. One more long breath here. And haul that leg back up to center. near vertical, maybe a little closer to your face. Relax the ankle. And now we're going to reach up with a long right arm, straight as it can be. Grab as high as you can on the strap and roll that leg over to the right side of your body. And your foot may touch the floor, it may not. You can put a block under it. Feeling a nice stretch all throughout the left leg and the left hip. Keep pulling that foot close to your face. You can't see me. I'll scoot over again. There we go. So keep pulling that foot towards your face. And you can look away from your feet, over your left shoulder. If you want to get fancy, you can even bend your back leg and reach for it. Adding in a dancer stretch. Or just let it go and let your right leg relax. Relax everything in the left leg. Pull it a little bit closer to your face. And then roll back to center. And you can see my left leg was here and now it's here. Relax the ankle one last time and then bend the knee. Throw that strap away, we're done with it. Grab your foot with both hands, pulling it close to your face with your elbows out to the side. So my left forearm and my left shin are lined up. And release down. Woohoo! What a great way to enter Shavasana. So get comfy. If lying on your back is hard for your back, try bending your knees. Bring your feet nice and wide and rest the knees against each other. I'll show you at an angle. So feet are really wide, knees are resting, and this is a great back support. Otherwise, extend your legs. Arms are at your side. And let's check in that we are supported everywhere. So let your back of your head rest on your mat. Let your shoulders sink back toward the mat. And let your neck know, hey, you are supported. The head is supported. You don't need to do anything right now. Let your neck relax. Feel the back of your rib cage sinking into the mat. And feel your spine relaxing toward the mat. Let your glutes soften. And as that happens, maybe your thighs roll slightly away from each other so your feet are pointing in different directions. And let whatever parts of your legs are touching the floor be supported. Maybe your calves are relaxed into the floor. And let your heels rest heavily on the floor. And then bring your attention back up to your shoulders, your elbows, and the backs of your hands, all resting, supported by the floor or the mat. Just let yourself go down into the mat. And now we'll bring the attention to the front of the body from the toes up. So let the tops of your feet relax and your toes be soft. They don't have to point or flex, they can just be neutral. And bring your attention up your shins to your knees. Let your knees be soft, relaxed. And the front of your thighs, your quads, let them soften. In fact, let everything in the hip and pelvic area just go. We hold a lot of tension there without even knowing it. Let that whole area just relax. And now let your belly button sink down toward your spine. And let your whole rib cage soften. Let your shoulders soften again and feel that relaxation just flow down your arms, upper arms, inner elbows, forearms and wrists. The backs of your hands are supported and the palms of your hands are just gently, loosely cupped. Your fingers are soft. And finally, bring your attention to your face. If your eyebrows are drawn together, let them drift apart. Let your forehead smooth out. Let your eyes go soft and unfocused. Maybe they roll back in your head a little bit. Let all those tiny muscles around your eyes relax. Let your jaw muscles relax. You can even be slightly open-mouthed. No one's looking. And allow all the tiny muscles around your lips to soften. And finally, let your tongue relax and rest. And you might feel that that opens up your airway a little bit. Let the inside of your throat relax. And all that you have to do for the next few minutes is lie here and let your breath wash over you like waves on a beach. If you catch yourself thinking or planning or remembering, just let that blow away like a cloud in the sky. All you have to do right now is be and breathe. And now take a deep breath and let it all out. And start making small movements at first. Fingers and toes wiggling back to life. Wrists and ankles flexing and rolling. Maybe rocking your head side to side. And then check in with your back. What would your back appreciate right now? Maybe a long full body stretch. Maybe knees to chest yet again. And do whatever your back wants. And when you're ready, roll to one side, resting your head on your arm and taking a moment to think about something you're grateful for, anything you're grateful for. And then push up to seated. I'm so grateful you watched my video. I hope it helped. Namaste.